The scream that shattered the throne chamber did not come from the queen, but from the human kneeling at her feet. Because the moment his hands touched the broken helmet, it woke, burned, and bound itself to him as if it had been waiting for someone like him all along. And every alien in the hall decided at once that he would be the one to die for it. He was called Erin, a name spoken only once in his life with kindness. A thin and tired human taken from a destroyed frontier colony after a war humans lost without glory. Dragged into alien space as labor because broken people were cheaper than machines. Humans avoided him, ashamed of what he represented. Aliens ignored him, certain he would never matter. He lived beneath the citadel, where light was weak and air tasted of metal, repairing what others threw away, surviving beatings, insults, and long nights where loneliness pressed heavier than hunger. He had learned early that hope was dangerous, so he kept his head down and his hands steady, because broken things at least made sense to him. When the ambush struck the queen's procession, and the living royal helmet shattered under a forbidden weapon, the palace froze in terror, because the helmet was not just armor, but a living relic bound to the throne, said to kill any unchosen who dared touch it. Alien engineers refused to approach. Priests argued and prayed. Guards shouted orders that meant nothing. Someone noticed the human crouched near a shattered pillar, small and bleeding from debris, and dragged him forward because humans were already cursed in their eyes. Erin did not resist. He expected execution. He expected pain. He expected to disappear without anyone learning his name. But when his fingers brushed the cracked surface, the helmet opened its inner weave to him, flooding his mind with alien memories of ancient wars, burning worlds, lost children, and rulers who carried the weight of entire species alone. The pain was unbearable, but it was familiar, because loneliness felt the same in every language. While soldiers mocked and nobles whispered accusations, Erin worked with shaking hands, using forbidden human methods, giving the helmet what it demanded, including his blood, until the living light stabilized and the queen gasped back to life. Silence fell like a blade. Then the accusations came. He was dragged away in chains, beaten for good measure, thrown into a cell so deep that even sound seemed afraid to linger. Days passed. No food came. His wounds rotted. Humans who passed averted their eyes, terrified of being associated with the cursed one. Erin began to believe that the universe had finally finished with him. When the cell door opened, he expected death, but the queen entered alone, towering and radiant, her helmet whole and humming, still marked by faint traces of his blood. She looked at him not as a ruler looks at a servant, but as one wounded soul looks at another. She spoke his name without asking it. She called him Groom, a word from her people meaning the one who binds what power alone cannot heal. Outside the cell, the palace erupted. Priests screamed heresy. Nobles demanded his execution. Humans whispered fear and envy. The queen stood before them all and declared an ancient truth long buried, that the helmet chose those who gave without hunger for control, and that humans once carried that nature before war and exile crushed it. Her word saved his life and ruined it at the same time. From that day, Erin became prey. Assassins hunted him in silent corridors. Soldiers struck him where cameras could not see. Humans spat at him, calling him traitor and pet. The queen could not protect him openly without igniting civil war, so she made a choice that broke them both. She publicly cursed and banished him beyond the citadel, while secretly pressing a beacon into his hand and whispering that his life mattered more than her crown. Alone in the wastelands beyond the city, where failed alien experiments roamed and storms stripped flesh from bone, Erin suffered, crawled, and nearly died many times, haunted by the question of why he had ever believed he could belong anywhere. In fevered dreams, the helmet called to him across distance, revealing a hidden enemy, parasites feeding on fear and division, guiding wars between humans and aliens so neither would ever heal. When Irin finally returned, half dead and carrying proof burned into his mind, the palace was burning. The council had betrayed the queen. Soldiers hunted her through collapsing halls. Irin ran toward the chaos without armor or strength, driven by a single truth that someone had once seen him and chosen him. He reached her as a blade fell meant for her heart. He stepped between without thinking. Pain tore through him. As he fell, the helmet answered his sacrifice, leaving the queen and sealing around him, not to make him a king, but a shield, drawing strength from every wound he had endured without hatred. He rose, human and more, not unstoppable but unyielding. The parasites were exposed and destroyed in a single night of truth and fire. When dawn came, Irin removed the helmet and placed it back into the queen's hands, kneeling and expecting nothing. She lifted him. She called him Groom again, not as possession, but as bond. The empires did not heal overnight, but something fundamental shifted. Because the weakest man in the room had proven that survival is not about dominance, but about choosing to protect others, even when the universe tells you that you are nothing.